Hello and welcome to another episode of Inside Out. I'd like to thank all of you who've been very supportive and who've been following my episodes very closely. Keep providing that valuable feedback of yours. My guest tonight is one who burst into international cricket at a very young age, had a long drawn career. His career has been one of great role model of discipline, dedication, attitude, and he ended up winning all the tournaments for Gujarat, which is his home state, be it the Ranji Trophy or the Syed Mushtaq Ali or the one days for that matter, the Vijay Hazare. Um, it's my pleasure to introduce Parthiv Patel to you, who just recently retired from all formats of cricket. And welcome, Parthiv. It's great to have you on the show. Good to see a nice young face.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you too.
And Parthiv, you burst into the Indian dressing room at an age of 17. There were a lot of established cricketers there. Oh, was it full of awe for you when you first walked into the dressing room?
Yeah, absolutely. I think once I clearly remember as I entered dressing room or I entered team hotel. One day guys were already there before the NetWest series, and I saw Sachin Tendulkar coming out of the lift, and I didn't know how to react. I didn't know to how to address him, whether to tell him sir, to tell him bye or whatever. In the way we address. So these were the scenes. I think if I just can take you back to say 3 or 4 months back, so if I take you February of 2002, and I made debut in August. But February there was Indian camp in Bangalore, senior Indian camp, and we had under 19 World Cup camp also happening simultaneously in Bangalore. So Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, and Anil Kumble, and everyone used to come to our camp and give us their experiences. They used to share that, and here I am after in say 4 or 5 months time sharing dressing room with them. So I used to sit in a corner and just to I couldn't utter a word. There's a big difference now and then, because as you know there's a big gap between IPL and Ranji Trophy. Now it was like Ranji Trophy to Indian team is a big jump. Now if you see the guys have in IPL, they already share dressing room with greats of world cricket, so they don't get overawed by the presence of great cricketers. But for anyone in those times, just to go from domestic cricket to Indian side was completely different experience.
It all happened so quickly. Did you have to pinch yourself to, sort of reassure yourself it's really happening?
I think I had to. I think I clearly remember, I came from India 8 hour from Sri Lanka. I was sleeping at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And, that's when the lunch used to happen. There was some India game was happening, and there was no Twitter, there was no Instagram, or, we didn't get to see the team then. Either a secretary would announce the team during test match, or we had to wait for that 7:30 news time where team would get announced. And I came at 5 in the morning. I was sleeping. My sister came and told me that you are picked for Indian side. I was like, no, you go away. Let me sleep. I'm very tired. And she actually slapped me and told me that you are picked for Indian side. And I was like, for few days, and I was completely numb, because any cricketer who starts playing for state or plays junior cricket, he dreams of getting picked for Indian team. And here I was, my dream was about to get finished. I was about to leave that dream. So yeah, I had to pinch myself. In fact, my sister actually slapped me to make me realize that I've been picked.
No, straight away having to keep abroad against bowlers who probably you would not have kept earlier. How challenging was it, especially with all the additional pressure you would have had on yourself?
It was challenging, I think, especially in conditions in England, when they say wicket keeping to fast bowlers is easy when you are keeping in India or Australia or South Africa. But in England, it's a bigger challenge because ball wobbles around quite a bit once it passes the stump. So for me, I had never experienced something like that. I didn't even know that ball wobbles behind the stump. So my first tour game, I was talking to Rahul Dravid, standing in first slip, and I told him, yeah, ball. In fact, in England, ball swings behind the stump as well. So, I had no idea about that. So, to tackle that was very big challenge, especially to keep to someone like Zair Khan or Ajit Agarkar or Ashish Nehra. They were bowling 140, 145, and then they were at their peak. So that was a very big challenge for me. I had never experienced ball hitting my gloves so hard ever, because coming straight from under 19 to Indian team was very big challenge. Let alone the spinners of Anil Kumble and Harbhajan Singh. I'm not even going there. The speeds of spinning. I never thought that spinners could also can bowl this fast, or generate that much of bounce.
But you acquitted yourself remarkably well behind stumps, and also you played a match-saving knock there, which also established your batting credentials too.
Yeah, I did. I think, first inning, I remember getting a zero. I got out on zero. And it's the same thing where I'd never faced such swing bowling or anything like that. Matthew Hogarth was spinning like, as we call in those banana swings, we call those out swingers. For lefties, it used to come in, and I'd never experienced something like that. And I got out on zero in first inning. Anil Kumble was sitting next to me, and, you know, he came and told me that's okay. Whoever gets out on zero in first knock goes on to have a bigger career. And he gave me examples of great Guddappa Vishwanath and other players. That's how supportive that generation of cricketers were, because they know how it is to play for India and how difficult it is to handle that pressure. But yeah, that match saving inning, remember going into bat, and Saurav Ganguly got out on 99. He passed me in between a Trent Bridge dressing room. He said we can still do it. That was that's something which he had told, and we had to play out full session. And then we were counting balls. I had a good partnership with Zair Khan, Ajit Agarkar, Harbhajan Singh, and ended up scoring only 19 runs, but I batted for almost 100 balls. So that's something which I can cherish throughout my life, even after retirement. People still talk about that knock itself. Says that it was very important inning of my career.
You spoke about the supportive nature of the cricketers of that generation. It's very important for anybody coming into the side first up, and especially for somebody who's only 17 years of age.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it is remarkable how my first experience was. I didn't know how to talk to them. I didn't know, whether how will I be received in the dressing room. But having seen them, having started playing cricket, watching Sachin Tendulkar in 1992 World Cup, or watching Saurav Ganguly, being captain of the side, wearing those flashy Oakleys and all of that. That's something was clearly awestruck by the great players, and those were the players why all of our generation started playing cricket and sharing dressing room with them. But the first thing which came across was how humble they were and how hardworking all of them were. And every question, if I had, or even if they felt, if I could do something to improve my game, they would just walk up to me and talk to me, whether you can improve in this way, or this is how international cricket works. They would share their experiences. So those generation of cricketers were, I think, would make sure that you feel at home in that dressing room, because that's something which is very important. Because pressure was some which no one knew. I mean, in Ranji Trophy there was no live telecast, so no one knew that how commentators would react, or how everyone would react to your performance. So they know how it works, and they were quite supportive.
Another landmark event would have been the tour of Pakistan, where India won after a long time. And did you open during that series, or did you sort of play at your regular number?
I actually, in first two test matches, I was batting at number seven. I got a 50 in Lahore, 62 not out. But third test match, I was opening because I think Saurav Ganguly was injured in that first two test matches. He had come in, so everyone got 100. Yuvraj got 100 in Lahore. Sachin can't be dropped. Rahul can't be dropped. Lakshman can't be dropped. So there was only one player who could have been replaced, was Akash Chopra, and there was one space was opening. So in the third test match, I clearly remember opening to Shoaib Akhtar, Mohammad Sami, and Fazle Akbar. I think there was another fast bowler. But yeah, I mean, I clearly remember how fast Shoaib Akhtar was, because Shoaib Akhtar was unbelievably quick then. he bowled a couple of bouncer to Rahul Dravid. I was at non-striker, and it actually went over Kamran Akmal's head. And he said he spoke to Kamran. He said, "Why don't you stand far behind?" He said, "I'm at the 40 yard. I can't go farther than this." And at the end, I asked Rahul bhai, when the over finished, I asked Rahul bhai, "Does he bowl this fast to me as well?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's bowled."
That must have been enjoyable, even though there would have been a lot of aggravation off the field. There would have been quite a lot of winding up happening off the field.
Yeah, absolutely. There was. I think, the Pakistan tour was, it taught me a lot of things because, I had gone to Pakistan with a completely different mindset about. And as a player, having played with them against them in junior level, there was always one thought in my mind that, you have to do well against Pakistan. And for a player also, when you do well against Pakistan, you get very good recognition. It's like playing against Pakistan is one side and playing against any other side is at one side. So I was quite determined to do well against Pakistan.
Things were going well. Parthiv Patel was getting the hang of international cricket. He had displayed his ability both as a keeper and batsman. But then, as things happen sometimes, due to factors beyond your control, um, things started changing. One, MS Dhoni started coming into the scene, and just talk us through about that phase as to how the transition from you losing out your place to Dhoni coming in and establishing himself.
I see there are a lot of people talk about this phase of mine and they say that, you were unlucky to be, playing in the era of MS Dhoni. But if you look at the other way around, that's how I look at it. It's like because I didn't do well in international cricket, because I had a couple of bad series as a wicketkeeper, that's why I was dropped. If I was doing well, if I had a good series against Australia or Pakistan at home and away, I think I wouldn't have lost my place. So I can say that to gain sympathy, but that's something which I've never felt like it. I think it was my own performance which was the reason why I was dropped. So that's something which I never think of, that I was unlucky being part of that same era as MS Dhoni was. And on the contrary, I feel lucky that we were playing in the same era where he, to play for India, you always had to push yourself. You always had to push those limits, and that's something which I did in domestic cricket. But as I said, for me, my only thing was to enjoy cricket. Once I was dropped out of Indian side, I was scared to even catch tennis ball. I'd lost confidence. I had gone to under 16 boys, though even though I had already played 20 test matches. I had practiced with under 16 and under 19 boys to get that confidence back, to feel like a player again. I took a break for 6-8 months, and there was one phase where I had to play Ranji Trophy and I got injured, and I I was feeling happy that at least I'll not have to play now. I feel okay. I'll get my 6-7 weeks to not to play cricket again. I was in that phase. Went back to basics. Went back to something which I did for hours. Was I was asking someone to just throw underarms to me and would just hit straight back to them and just catch those balls, tennis balls, plastic balls, and there was something which I was scared of that I can't tell you. I can open up about that now, but that was a phase where I could have stopped playing cricket. But the family and the coaches around here shown a lot of confidence in me. That's the reason why I kept on playing cricket. And that's one of the things which I changed after that phase was to enjoy game. No matter which level of the cricket I'm playing either club level, either I'm playing district level or state. I had set myself certain amount of intensity. I'd set myself that these are my standards, and I'm going to keep playing whether I'm playing any form of game.
Then you took on a mission of putting Gujarat on the map, with as a real force to reckon with. Yes, that's one side, all right. When you're out of the team, you're going to be motivated to make a comeback, do well and make a comeback. That's all right. But to try and take a team along, how difficult was it? Because it's not the easiest of things to do. Because when you have a lot of things going on in your head about your own cricket, having to do something on behalf of others, for others, and carry them along. It must have been real hard work.
Yeah, it was, but at the other end, I was enjoying it. I've always enjoyed being captain. I've always led Gujarat from under 14. I've always enjoyed that responsibility. But yeah, I mean, just to give you that background, when I got into Gujarat side, our mindset was if we are going to Bombay, if we are playing against Bombay Ranji game, we would pack our bags only for 3 days, and one bag. There are players in the side would think that last day is for a shopping day. We're not going to anyway survive after third day against Mumbai. And Mumbai team would come to Ahmedabad, and invariably they would book their flight on third day evening because they knew the game would finish on third day. That was the mindset of our side. So slowly, after playing international cricket to get into the side like that was very difficult to understand philosophy, to understand mindset of players, because there are a lot of players would think of scoring 30 40s, and they know that we'll play full season if we get only 30 40s. But that's something which I felt I didn't enjoy that. So I had a chat with Anshuman Gaikwad sir. He was our coach, and I said we need to do something about this, and he was the one who pushed me to say he had tried. He was there for 2 years. It's like, now here everyone knows you, they respect you. You are the one who left to take calls. So we've decided to drop few senior players and get few young players, so that that mindset changes. Our junior cricket was very, very strong. Our under 19 boys had won Kuch Bihar trophy and stuff, so we had to get in a lot of junior players into it, and all this while I was performing. Yeah, I was doing really well throughout the season, 600 runs, 700 runs a season. But I met Saurav Ganguly once the season finished on the airport. I bumped into him, and he asked me how was the season. I was like, yeah, I'm getting 700 runs a season, and he was like, that you were getting anyway every season. You got to do something where team wins. So that's something clicked in my mind, and that's where I took on captaincy. I took on spoke to selectors, I spoke to GC officials, said this is something which I'm thinking. I have a 5-year plan in my mind. I want to get youngsters into the side. I want to give them a free hand to express themselves, because these are the guys who have won in junior cricket, so they know how to win tournaments, and I need that kind of free hand. And GC officials and selectors were kind enough to give me that free hand of selecting my players, selecting coaches, and getting that system on. So we've changed the full system. From we used to have inter-district tournament in May, and then we would pick about 36 players, and then we would play inter squad game, and then we had two teams, one team going to Buchi Babu tournament and one team going to KSCA tournament. These were the pre-season important tournaments, and so that by the time Ranji Trophy starts, the player were already played lot of games, and we had same set of coaches working in all the districts. So that was a process which I had laid down to GCA, and they accepted it. And it took almost 5 years for us to win Ranji Trophy. But we started with junior. We started with limited over. First we won T20, and then one day, and then we ended up winning Ranji Trophy.
You're probably the only one, if I'm right, to have won all the three formats for your state. Or
Yeah.
rather, in first class cricket, I think I can't think of other captains having done that. I think you're probably one of the few to have done that. Let me play it a little bit
Hmm.
safe and say you're one of the few.
No, I know that I'm the only one. I think Karnataka is the other team which have won all the things. Gujarat was the only one for a while, but yeah, I'm the only captain to have won all formats.
Well done, Parthiv. A great job done. In fact, people
Yeah,
perhaps may not realize how difficult a mission it would have been.
yeah,
Let's talk about IPL. It changed everything, isn't it? Not for the guys who had played international cricket, who had played against top international cricketers, but for those from India who had not played international cricket, who had a chance of mingling with top international stars and getting to know them and knowing the cultures of other cricketing nations must have been a totally different experience.
Absolutely. I think there are a lot of people who talk about how IPL changed financially for a lot of players, but they, don't see that how Indian cricket has evolved after IPL. And that was one of the reason why we used to have a chat with a lot of players. I mean, imagine me and Matthew Hayden opening together and trying to know how he used to prepare, how Michael Hussey used to prepare, or how Muralidharan would prepare. And all of this I'm talking about early days when I was with Chennai Super Kings, where other young players got chance to mingle with all the greats of cricket. And that's something I think changed Indian cricket, that took fear out of any player, because you will, next time when you play against Matthew Hayden, you will never be scared of Matthew Hayden. Or next time you're facing Shoaib Akhtar, because you'll never be scared because you've played in for the same side. Or so for that matter, Muralidharan, we all know how great spinner he was, but how good a person he is. And when you face him in international cricket, you don't fear him more. So that's how I think IPL changed a lot of things. Every player had different way of preparing. Say someone like Matthew Hayden was there first year, and he was still preparing for Ashes while playing IPL. He would in Chennai hit, and no one knows it better than you how hot Chennai gets. So he would actually, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, once the practice is finished, he would just sprint from one end to other end of Chepauk, so that he's ready for Ashes. So that's kind of commitment we saw. We had seen all our greats working hard, but to see these guys also worked hard, motivated a lot of us youngsters as well.
The important thing is that it gave tremendous opportunities for youngsters to pick up a lot of things. This is something that is missed out. People generally talk about the money, glamour, glitz
Yeah,
that's perceived
yeah,
about IPL.
yeah. Correct. I think that's a wrong perception. I think everyone has a choice of doing what they want to do and what they don't want to do. I think some players, like there are a lot of players, you would come out and say that IPL has helped them, and it has given them a security as well. In terms of finance as well. When you know that you can make a career out of it, or you can learn cricket, and you can end up playing for India in 1 year's time if you do well in IPL, and all sort of things were there for you to take. It depends on the player what you want to take out of it.
You've been a part of three of the most glamorous or the three of the most followed teams, the RCB, Mumbai Indians, and Chennai Super Kings. Just give us an insight as to how they go about things. What has made at least Chennai Super Kings and Mumbai Indians so successful? Why is success eluding RCB?
I think Chennai had found the method from year one. I think that's the way they used to treat that players. I think that lot of credit should go to the way Srini sir had handled the team. I think it goes to the India Cements, because they knew how to run a cricket side. It was different for other teams as well. For them it was still business, but at Chennai Super Kings they knew that winning and losing is part of the game. It's not that you will not be number one all the time. You will lose some games, you will win some games, and the way they used to treat players, it's the same way. Didn't matter whether you perform, whether you don't perform. And I think the way MS Dhoni led the side as well. The way he gave space to everyone, the way he was handling every player, and he gave everyone a chance to express themselves. And with Mumbai Indians, it was completely different. It was more about planning, more about scouting. I think Mumbai Indians was the one who got that scouting method, scouting part into the IPL thing. They knew which player to back. They knew exactly how player would react in certain situations. They would invest time, money into a player once they identify him. So that in that regard, I think Mumbai Indians was different in terms of in with Chennai, and I think RCB is again a different franchise. I thought they built a brilliant brand for themselves. There is no doubt about it. But I think as far as sticking to their players, trusting their players, that's where Chennai Super Kings and Mumbai Indians are far ahead than RCB.
Talking of scouting and finding the nuggets that are available in the deeper pockets of India, Bumrah, just give us a sense as to where did you find him and how he made his progress. I had seen him in camps at the NCA, but prior to that, I have no idea where he was and what he was all about.
He actually started playing when he was 19, and he was playing in one of the school games on a matting wicket, and suddenly there's a guy who was bowling really quick with unusual action, and someone had seen him in our association. So he had called up and it said that there is this guy, you should see him in nets. So he had come to our Ranji Trophy nets. As soon as we saw him, first thing we did was to put him in under 23 squad for Gujarat. He did well then, and then we first picked him for our Mushtaq Ali the year when we won. I think Bumrah was the man of the match in the final. And it was typical tennis ball player who would bowl those Yorkers, bowl those different kind of slower ones, and someone with a great background. I think his mother was a school principal, where someone who would always ready to learn, someone who would listen to you, would know that everything whatever senior players are telling is for good for him, and he was always ready to listen, he was always ready to train. And that I'm not surprised at all by his success, the way he handles himself, and he's a worthy number one bowler at the moment in the world.
Have you seen him bowl with his left hand?
Yes, I've seen. I think he can emulate Mitchell Johnson really well. He can do all kind of things. I know him inside out. I think we've
I asked you the reason because I saw him bowl with his left hand. It was fantastic, very conventional, very classic, in fact, if you can use that
yeah.
word.
Yeah, he can actually mirror Mitchell Johnson's action exactly like him, and that's as I said. He was completely freak. He was different than any other. As soon as you see him for the first time, that ability would struck to you that he is different.
Yeah, we are talking about Bumrah bowling with the left hand, but tell us about the importance of having a left arm seamer in the side. We had Zahir Khan, we had Nehra, we had RP Singh, Irfan Pathan. Now there is Natarajan giving some hope.
Yeah. I think a left arm seamer brings in the new dimension to the game. I think for me, whatever I've played, I feel that for a right hand batsman, the most difficult ball to face is left armers coming in. We've seen how Irfan Pathan, used to get Yusuf Johanna or more, Yonis Khan out with his in swingers, or Zahir Khan had that swing, Ashish Nehra had that swing, RP had that swing. So left armers, brings that different dimension to the game. And another thing which brings left armor is it gives you that rough outside off stump for off spinners as well. That's very key when you're playing 4 day, 5 day game. So it gives you those wickets as well, and helps another bowler to create those roughs as well.
You definitely felt it was important because you took RP Singh to Gujarat, didn't you?
Yeah, I think that's RP called me, we are very good friends. So I always thought that he had that art in his hand. He had that that in swing, out swing both, and he called me before retiring, not actual retirement. He wanted to retire 2 years before he played for Gujarat. So, I said, why don't you come and play for us? I will make sure that, you work with our bowlers. And whenever you feel that you're fit, I'll play you, or else you don't play. Just spend time in the dressing room. And, the kind of atmosphere we had created in our dressing room, whoever comes in and in our Gujarat dressing room enjoys it. He enjoyed it, and I think his performance in our every big game, he got that five in I think 4 wickets he got in Vijay Hazare final, where you were also commentating. I remember because you called my first ever 100. So I recently saw that too as well. But yeah, so RP made a big difference in when we see our Rush Kalaria, Chintan Gaja, all these Arzan Nagwaswala, these guys were there in the side, and RP held them. My main thing was I needed someone who knew how to take wickets. I needed someone with experience, because I'm not a coach. Coaching is completely different thing. I could talk about tactical parts, but I can't talk about technical parts. So I needed someone, as a bowler who could help our fast bowlers as well.
You played a test match after a long wait. almost close to 1.5 decades. Was the
Yeah.
experience any different between the two test matches? Test cricket had changed, did you think?
Yeah, yeah, it did. I think, the pace had definitely, gone up. There was no doubt about it. I think, when I played 19, I think out of 19 test matches, about 12, I'm talking about before comeback, about I think 11 or 12 test matches were drawn. And now you don't see that test matches, too many draw test matches because the pace, the run rate, and the way batsmen that don't have that much of patience, bowlers also don't have that much of patience of bowling outside the off stump. They would do something, they would create that opportunities. So it had changed, dressing room had changed, because all the youngsters were there. There was different buzz in the dressing room because almost everyone was of same age. Only, I would say there was only one guy I played with was Anil Kumble. He was the coach of the side. Everyone else were young players then. So there was definite difference in the dressing room.
You played under several captains apart from you having led various sides. Now let's talk about the captains of the national side first, and then we'll go to the captains under whom you played in the IPL.
I personally, obviously I have favorites. I definitely have very, very soft corner for sort of Ganguly being the first captain of my career. So, I think he was aggressive, and I think he was very good with by his man management skills were completely, I don't think I've ever seen a leader like him as far as man management skills are concerned. He had time for players who never did well. Someone if you had a bad day, he would call you in his room. He had this marigold biscuit dabba in his room always, and he was fond of teas and stuff. So he would call in the evening if you have a bad day. He would talk to you. He would ask about family. He would make you feel comfortable. So those are very important skills. To know about player, to just make him feel comfortable. And obviously the way he led side, he always set an example on the ground, obviously with his batting and bowling every time pressure. I'm not going in the fielding part, but he always taken make sure that set an example all the time. And Anil Kumble was completely like that. Anil Kumble was aggressive on the field. I loved playing under him. Again, a great man manager. I think super human being. I feel if you're a leader, you should be, command respect from others, not demand respect, just the way you conduct yourself. I think Anil Kumble and Saurav Ganguly were like that. Rahul Bhai was quiet. I didn't played much under him. I played only a couple of test matches under him. Rahul Bhai was quiet. He would just go about his business and stuff. And I thought Sehwag was brilliant as a captain as well. He was very chirpy on the ground, the way, and again, same things. He would talk, he would make fun of yours. Even if you made a mistake, he would laugh at you, so that you just take that thing out of you. So he would make that comfortable. I think Rohit Sharma has evolved as a captain so much since what I've seen in him in 2014 and now. Again, I think very, very approachable, very affable human being where you could go talk to him, you could share your ideas without being judged. I think, that's very important because there are times where, you might not feel comfortable, but, you need a captain who would not judge you. And that's what Rohit Sharma is, same, he would take everyone along. He always takes a back seat. His recent interviews, if you've noticed, he always said that, he's the least important player of the side. That's something tells a lot about a person's personality. Uh, MS Dhoni, very calm, and that everyone has that perception that he doesn't get angry. He does get angry, but he knows when to get angry and knows, when not to. But he allows you to, play your game. He knows that, I know this guy. If he's capable of scoring 30, he'll make sure that, he gets that 30 out of you. He'll not push you to get 40. We always talk about percentages, as coaches and captains, we say, give your 100%. But your 100% and my 100% would be different. But as a captain, you should be able to know that what is X is 100% and what is Y is 100%. And it's your job to get that 100% out of you. And that's where MS Dhoni was master of that. And Virat Kohli, very aggressive. I know I'm a very aggressive captain. Sometimes I feel that aggression goes overboard. But yeah, I mean, I feel that all of these guys were brilliant. All of them had their own methods, and all of them are successful in their own rights.
Now come out of yourself and assess Parthiv Patel, the captain.
I would say that when I started, I was very I used to get very angry on stuff because I had that feeling in my mind. Uh, it was a wrong perception which I went in. If I could do it, why someone else can't do it? That's something which I had that in my mind. So that's something which I learned over the period of time. That everyone cannot be same as you. But there was only one thing which I used to ask for was efforts. That's something which I've never, would not negotiate on that, and it was non-negotiable for me. The effort. Everyone will drop catches. Everyone will get out on zero. You'll have bad days. You'll bowl badly. You'll bat badly. You'll play a rash shot. Everything will happen, but that's part of the game. But what I've learned over the period of time that no one does this, intentionally. You have to, make sure that everyone's out there to do their job, but there's something which is called effort that's in your hand to go out there and give your everything on the field. That's in your hand to try for everything. That's in your hand. That's something you should be every time doing it.
Do you think wicket keepers in the domestic circuit are getting enough attention in terms of enhancing their skills?
No, I've always said that. I think you get into Indian side but on the virtue of scoring runs rather than looking at your wicket keeping skills. Except Saha, I don't think anyone's wicket keeping skills are being watched, and it's actually surprising when we had chairman of selector was a wicket keeper, and still there were guys getting picked who would get runs, and get picked as a wicket keeper into the side. So that's something we need to change. I think in Test cricket you should be able to keep first, irrespective of how many runs you score. We've seen in recent times, we've seen before also that as a wicketkeeper, you are a wicketkeeper first, then the batsman. You have If you can score runs, that's the demand of right time of this time. You should be able to score runs as well. You should be able to think that when wicket keeping is my first job.
Now, what is this about keepers for different conditions? Now, what is it? I'm not able to perceive what it is. I read about it. I'm not really, sort of got my head around it. What exactly that is all about?
I think the guys who are taking those decisions can able will be able to answer that question, because it is a puzzle which I don't think anyone has been able to solve it. I don't understand that. I've said that before also. I think in Test cricket, your number one wicketkeeper is Saha. It doesn't matter whether you are playing in India or whether you are playing abroad. He is your Test wicketkeeper, and period. There's nothing to talk about it. If he's fit and ready, he should be keeping for India in Test cricket. Another thing which I felt was, if I was in this time and if someone would come and tell me that you can't bat overseas, and other one can't keep in India, but you are still playing for India. So that's so that's something which is very difficult to understand. But I don't have any answer, a particular answer for this for sure. We both are sailing in the same boat in this.
Uh, how was it keeping Anil Kumble on a rank turner?
It was unbelievable. I thought, I've never seen, as I said, I'd never seen someone could bowl this quick and the kind of bounce. The first thing which Anil Kumble brings in unbelievable amount of accuracy. He would be there, right there, and then bowling, those good length, short of good length balls. And, once he gets that bounce, you can see that energy, going up. He would always be there. The attitude of taking wicket of every ball, that something was unbelievable for Anil Kumble. But keeping to him on 1 KD wicket or Chepauk wicket was a challenge for me. But that's as I said, when I started doing it, there was a lot of confidence, and it was I probably him and Harbhajan Singh are the toughest bowlers I've kept wickets to.
Parthiv Patel, after retirement, is obviously trying to find where he wants to head. He's trying to
Yeah.
do as many things as possible, like all of us have done. And I must say that you are doing a grand job as an expert or as a commentator. Where do we see you going in the next few years?
As you said that, I'm trying my hands at lot of things. But yeah, first and foremost is to, there's only one thing which is for sure that, I will be associated with cricket because there's nothing else I know in life than cricket. So that's I will be around cricket. I want to, I've given a lot of time to Gujarat cricket where it is. So, I want to associate it with Gujarat cricket for as long as I can and give my services back here because whatever I am, wherever I've reached, is because I got so much of support from my home association. So that's something which I will be there, unconditionally, and I'm not going to go away from that. Commentary I've enjoyed, during World Cup and being an expert and stuff. So, that's something which I've enjoyed. I've joined Mumbai Indians as scout, so let's see, life takes me, but I know that, I'm more busier after retirement than what I was as a player.
Get into your talent scouting role. What will you see in a player when you go and see matches? If you had to
Uh,
sort of pick somebody.
See, first of all, whether there are a few things which you would look into a player, whether how he's performing in a pressure situation, how he's fielding, how he's handling himself. Game awareness is something which is very important because in a domestic player, you're not gonna coaches in IPL there's so little time that you're not gonna teach player. Game smartness, what we talk about. So that's something whether he has or not, that you can only see it on the ground. And depending on the team's combination as well, with Mumbai Indians, what Mahela and Zair Khan or Rohit Sharma, what are their requirements, what are they looking for? That's something which I'll try and find out, and hopefully, I'll find the guy which they are looking for.
Thanks a lot, Parthiv. You're fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed the chat. Hope you did as well.
Absolutely, it was fun.
Thank you very much. I'll hopefully meet you in person soon sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you. There it was Parthiv Patel once again showing why he succeeded in the various roles that he did so young in life, and I'm sure he's going to be a great success in all the roles that he's going to take in the future too. He was fantastic with his responses, no holding back, but yet very balanced in what he said. I personally enjoyed it very much. I'm sure that all of you would have enjoyed this chat as well. Until I catch up with you next time, like I always say, stay safe and stay healthy.